Hi everyone and welcome to this brand new type of content that I'm calling Creator Chats. These are discussions in the style of a podcast for you to listen along to, where I talk to fellow creators about all things Oxygen Not Included, creating content, and anything else we find interesting. I'd love to turn this into a series, so let me know if you like the idea, and hopefully I can do some more for you. And without further ado, let's jump into the first episode. Hi everyone and welcome to this first episode, and my guest here I don't think needs much of an introduction because most of you watching Only videos, if you're in the Only YouTube space then I'm sure you know who he is, but welcome to the amazing Lumaplays. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi guys, it's a pleasure to be here. You might know me from the pretty much any short you ever see about Oxygen Not Included, and maybe from the Bug and Exploit series.
Mm-hmm.
I became kind of infamous for bug and exploits, which was not intended, but it just happened.
Yeah, I think that's definitely your lane, is it? That's what I would recognize you most for in Oni. If you want to know about exploits, go to check out Luma. So I suppose we can open that up as the first topic, because what attracts you to exploits? Is that something that you meant to go and do, or did you just...
No, not at all. I just like to play the game, and I had an idea for the Bug and Exploit series. I thought it was kind of interesting and might get more views than a regular Let's Play. And because I'm so super freaking slow recording and editing stuff, it has been almost 2 years that the same Let's Play is running.
Okay.
So people only know me from this and not from the two, first try Let's Plays that I did before. And I didn't do any tutorials, basically. Yeah. I seen all of your tutorials because they're pretty good. And if I need to check something, I check either the Oni wiki or I just check your tutorials. So that's why I haven't done any on my own. I think they're good on their... like they are right now.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. Thank you for that. Takes a lot of work to make those tutorials. So, your exploits are always interesting. I do wonder. Did you find a lot of the exploits by yourself, or you're kind of active on the forums and stuff and seeing things?
I'm not active on the forums at all. I did read a lot of them for the classic exploits.
Yeah.
But the newer ones we discovered on the Discord, there is a hidden channel that you can only get access if you ask, because it is full of spoilers. And mostly Kutai, Ulsen, and some other guys figured out tricks and exploits together with me, like the Radbolt exploits.
Yeah, I did that one. I think that was the craziest exploit you found. I mean,
totally. We just saw these weird green flashes behind the red bolts and thought, how can we use them? We checked them. They are highly radioactive. They have these germs, the contaminants.
Yeah.
And we just try to figure out how we can catch them. So we threw water at it, gases, dropping materials and all. And the gases and some of the liquids stuck. And then we tried to go from that point on and use that for our crazy machine. Each one of us did develop a different part of the machine, but mostly the most work Kutai put in. So he got the credit for it. It deserved.
Yeah, it's a bit of a team effort on that one. I mean, that one is crazy. And for anyone that is listening that hasn't seen that, just to explain quickly what it is, I'll try, because I got to admit, I don't even fully understand it myself. But you're using the flashes of the Radbolts, which then create a lot of contaminants.
So basically, the red bolts need a lot of energy and a lot of time to just produce a single shot. And we managed to have the same machine shoot, how much was it? Like 11,000 per half hour.
Yeah.
So you can quickly drill through any materials. And we also figured out that if you shoot the red bolt on neutronium, which basically is undiggable, you can reduce it by a single gram per 1 power red bolt. So a 500 power red bolt reduces the tile by 500 gram. And the tile has either 20 tons or 10 tons, and we just reduce it over time until we can delete it, and so we can shoot through the wall of the game basically, and have two different planets connected that way. which is super weird but funny.
Yeah, I did, and you made another specific video on how you can use the fact that the two planetoids are linked and what you can and can't send across the gap. It's pretty crazy what you managed to do with that.
I think that one we discovered without any other external help. And there was last year, October, or even before that, but we haven't publicly made a video about that.
Yeah, but I think just to put the numbers in perspective as well, because you said 11,000 Radbolt shots. That's Radbolt shots in half an hour, isn't it? Are they at least 50 each? Because that's the minimum you can fire them.
I think those are the 500 ones, but I'm not sure. I
it's
have
just
it somewhere.
Stupid amount of radiation.
It's super stupid. I have it somewhere on the Discord. I have a pinned comment there. You can check the actual numbers, but it's just super funny if you hit a duplicant and the duplicant just can't get up because they are so highly radiated. Even if you put them in the right spot, they're pretty much gone. Only Francis John found a solution for that.
No matter,
I don't know how he found that, or if he read it somewhere. If you shoot the duplicant in a rocket into space and then explode the rocket and the duplicant comes crashing down, his values gets reset.
Right. I did not know about that at all, so that's good to know.
Yeah, that's super crazy.
Yeah, because otherwise, for anyone that isn't aware, when the dupe gets above the absolute maximum rad exposure, which I think is 900, if I remember correctly, once they go over that, they can't recover. So even if you put them, like you were saying, when you put them on a triage cart, they just fall off. So they literally just die because you can't do anything. So that's, I didn't know about that one.
Same happens if the duplicant touches the highly radioactive liquid and they just, they die.
Yeah, I think the cause is when their rad number goes over that, the high value of radiation poisoning, I think or sickness. Yeah. I would say that's an interesting.
We even started with the exploits, so here we are again.
So it wouldn't be having you on the show without talking about exploits. So I think that's a great place to start. Can I take you back though, because I was talking about Oni now. Oni's been out a while. Do you remember how you got started with Oni?
Kinda. I watched. Not sure if it was Francis or Brothgar, but one of those. I did watch them first, and I just liked the art style of the game, and watched a few videos. Saw that is kind of complicated and interesting, and you can do a lot of stuff and buildings, which is my kind of game. And then I basically immediately bought it before I have seen too much, so I can experience it on my own. I installed the game, started it, and immediately thought, where the frick is the digging button?
You found it in the end, though.
I even thought about deinstalling the game again because it was so much more complicated from the UI overlay than I expected at first.
See, I think that's the thing with Oxygen Not Included, where the art style is super cute, and it's almost a bit misleading when you then you open the game up and you think it's going to be a quick, easy game, which is nice and fun. I mean, it is fun, but it just gets super complicated super quickly, and everyone starts freaking out.
Absolutely. I kind of like those nice and cute looking games, which are way more difficult than you expect. Like Cuphead, for example, or Retropolis, which are both look super cute but are not easy.
Yeah, but I think the difficulty of Oni is definitely what has kept me playing it for such a long time.
Yeah, exactly.
The depth. In some ways, I think the depth is almost unique to Oni. I mean, there are other games that are also complicated and deep and that kind of thing. But I think with Oni has its own unique. The way I describe it to people is it's almost emergent, if you know what I mean. It's not like the developers came up with a load of stuff and then you have to jump through the hoops and it's predefined. It feels more like they give you a big set of tools. So here's some pipes, here's some heat management stuff, here's some power buildings. And you've got so much creativity and freedom in how you put it together that it becomes its own challenge, and it's more creative than having a more railroaded path, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. I think a part of Oni's difficulty as well as its replayability and just how we like to build stuff comes from its different layers. So
Yeah.
there's basically no other game where you can build 5 different layers of stuff behind each other.
Yeah. And have
And
them all
each
work
layer,
together.
and each layer influences the next one.
Yeah, it's super detailed. And then the automation as well, which the automation in the game is actually, I don't know, it's not super heavy. Like there are definitely more complicated automation programming type things you can do. But even though with the basic options, it still gives you a lot of flexibility and ability to make intelligent automated systems.
It's definitely enough to make some nice basic automatic systems.
Mm-hmm.
Even though automation, I hear it in the comments of some of the creations that I posted.
Yeah.
Automation keeps people away. Not because it's necessarily complicated, but because they don't want to check out how it works at first. So there's an initial threshold of, I don't want to try that. And I had the same feeling when I looked at it. And I do know how to make some easy automation stuff from a few years of Minecraft. Not professional, not very, just for me. I think it's this threshold that keeps them away.
Yeah, that's interesting because I think I came at the automation from a slightly different perspective because I have an engineering degree and the automation stuff is effectively, it's based on real world digital logic circuits, particularly is, you know, if you have a degree that covers that stuff, at least in the basics, that for me then felt like I already kind of had a good understanding, a good grasp of what to do with it, because I recognize it. I know what a NOT gate is. I know what an AND gate is. I've been taught about that, and I can put them together at least in basic ways, and that kind of came quite naturally. But I think that is a repeated joke in the Oni community, is that in order to play the game, you need an engineering degree. So
I think it's not even a joke. I wrote down a question here, and it funnily included, why do you think so many YouTube content creators of Oxygen Not Included have a degree in engineering?
Well, I think the answer to that's straightforward, is because a lot of the game uses the same principles as engineering. I think that's it. To me, a lot of engineering is a way of thinking. It's not just about, you know, being able to crunch maths or do a load of calculations, but it's how you approach a problem, how you break it down in a structured way, and then kind of apply logic and work your way through, you know, in a sensible, structured way. That to me is what engineering is at its core. So I think if you've got those skills, then you fit into Oni very naturally. Do you? What's your background in terms of that? Do you?
There might be a reason why I play more chaotic than other creators and use more exploits in the current Let's Play, because I can be super organized, and I will be if I want to, but it stresses me out sometimes, so I just half-ass my builds. Not the ones I present, but the ones that I build freely in the Let's Play, because I want to get to the next stuff that I actually wanted to do. So I just throw together a volcano tamer, and 50 episodes later, it might be that it breaks for some reason. I forgot to build the aqua tuner out of steel. I should have known that, sure, but just smacked it together.
Oh yeah, but it's so easy to make small mistakes like that. I mean, everyone falls on that. And I would like to dispel a myth, if in case anyone thinks that I am super organized and super neat. If you've seen any of my Twitch stuff or the VODs that end up on YouTube, it is controlled chaos. That's how I describe it. My base is
basically
it is, but I think I play quite quickly. Because I feel like I know what I'm doing. I usually tend to rush things, and I also like to have about 10 or 15 things going on at the same time. Is that something you do as well, or do you do one at a time? Are you better with managing your dupes like
that? Example. If I try to record an episode for the Let's Play, I do have five different planets. Each of the planets has a few dupes on them, and all of them have different stuff to do. I have different projects on each planet. I have how's it called? The fixed camera position. On each of the builds.
A saved place. Yeah,
and I skip back and forth for each of the building progresses from. I skip back and forth.
Yeah, so you're in the same place and
step.
you can time lapse it basically. Yeah.
And then I put it in different folders with Planet 1, Build 1, and put it all together. So I have it nice and neatly for a time lapse.
Yeah.
And then I put it back together. But when I play it, it's horrible chaos.
It just looks good.
Like I built one after the other, but it's not the case.
Yes, that's the power of editing. Is you can make anything chaotic look a bit neater. I personally don't make specific kind of playthrough videos directly for YouTube. I record them as streams and upload them unedited because I don't know what your thoughts are, but if you're going to make that style of content, which I know so you do, I know Francis John does, for example, and where you're doing a cut down version of a playthrough, so you're cutting a lot of the extra stuff out.
Francis John doesn't really cut. He had a video where he tried to edit it in more the way that I do and some other creators do, and he basically said, "I'm never gonna do that again."
Yeah,
but he has the amazing ability to talk super fast and make anything interesting that he does at the moment. He does cut, of course. He makes time lapses as well. That's where I seen them first, and at Greasy Hammers. Yeah, there I've seen the time lapses.
Yeah, but I still think with that kind of content, you need to make it specifically for YouTube. But my position, I think, where I'm at, is that if you record a live VOD, a Twitch stream, editing that down into that style of content is not easy. I'm not sure it's actually possible because of the way you jump around and that kind of thing. So, yeah, that kind of explains why I do it the way I do it. But plus, editing's a pain.
Editing is an absolute pain.
Yeah.
I guess you also have seen the 100 dupe challenge.
Yeah, I have seen that as well. It's a bit of a mad one.
Yeah. So the 100 dupe challenge was recorded in the way you described. I just played for myself, not with the intention of uploading it, just to see if I can do it, which I will. Just check it out for yourself. Check the video. And then I cut it together in an interesting way, and it took 2 months.
Wow, yeah, it takes a while. And just to explain as well the premise for anyone that might not have seen it, the idea is that you have 100 dupes on cycle 1, and you try and keep them all alive. Basically, is his goal number 1, right? And then you're trying to get to cycle 100. Is that the end goal?
I try to get to cycle 100. Each person can find their own goals, I guess. But for me, it was when the first duplicant dies, I stop. Yeah, and then I check which cycle I am on,
So the challenge is about keeping 100 dupes alive from the start, which is obviously very challenging because you don't have the space or the research or the resources to do that. So I suppose that was an evolution of the 50 dupe challenge, I think.
Yeah. Super interesting challenge from Echo Ridge Gaming.
Yeah.
And I thought I step it up after that.
Go one more, go higher.
One more, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's always the way. You got to, take ideas from other people and try and evolve them and come up with something new. That's always the idea. But yeah, no, the editing is a killer with this stuff. I think I didn't really appreciate how much time it took until I started doing it, and it takes ages, even just for a short video, right? It's just so long.
Oh, my longest short video was the first SPOM that I built. Uh-huh. It's not a good SPOM design, but it was the very first SPOM that I designed on my own without help. And the video for that took 17 hours. And it's a 1-minute video.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably on the extreme end, but
that's the extreme short end.
Just to give anyone listening that hasn't done video editing before, it takes ages. My tutorial bites kind of thing. I think maybe a 3 to 5 minute video would probably take me around 8 hours, I'd guess, and then maybe a 10-minute video, which some of the longer tutorial bites are probably in the region of 15, 16 hours because. And it's not just the editing as well, because for me, I script mine. So I have to script the tutorial. I then have to make all the visuals in game so that I can record those. I record the visuals separately and I record the audio separately. And then I've got to edit all the stuff down. So get all of my million retakes in the right order and get all the rubbish out. put all that together, resync it, add on graphics, and and then the annoying thing right at the end is once you've got a nice finished video and you're like, I'm happy with this, finally, you then got to upload it to YouTube, and there's a whole load of stuff that goes with that as well. So for anyone that might not have thought about it, you've got, I do subtitles on mine in a couple of languages.
Yeah, I've seen that. That is impressive.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, I just use there's a free software that translates them. So you feed in the correct one from the English, and then it does the translation for you. So it's actually not that difficult, but it's good accessibility.
You actually don't need that anymore, to be honest. So if you have one good English subtitle and uploaded that to YouTube, or you waited until YouTube makes their own subtitle, you can download it, you can correct it. And if you have that uploaded, you just press one button for turn it into another language. That's pretty new, I think, beginning this year. But it only works when you have like your own uploaded subtitle in English, not the automated generated one. That's not so good.
Okay.
That's how I made the 22 subtitles for the 100 dupe challenge.
Cool. All right. Well, I didn't know about that, so I'll definitely have a look at that. Look at that in a bit, but yeah. So I upload my scripts as the subtitles, so that's good because they match exactly.
Yeah,
I've already got the script, so that saves me some time there. But
nice.
But yeah, you've got that, and you've got. Sorry, I was just saying, when you upload a video, you've got chapters. Takes time to do. You've got links as well. You've got to do a thumbnail. There's all these steps to getting a video out. So
your graphics are kind of amazing from the tutorial videos. Do you do them externally with like Photoshop or something else?
Nothing as good as that. I just use PowerPoint.
Just PowerPoint. Nice.
So I use the PowerPoint, and then I save them as picture files, PNGs, and then I import the pictures into my editing software and then overlay them that way. So most of them are done with that, and then I do a bit of animations. What I have done for some of the more complicated ones, so I think it was the petroleum boiler and the sour gas boiler ones, where I've got a huge flowchart with a lot of things, I did actually record that in PowerPoint. So I literally made it as a presentation with arrows and text coming in, recorded that, and then fed that over the top of a whiteboard, basically.
That's super clever.
I am in no way trained to be a content creator, video editor. I'm making up as I go along, we're just learning as we go. And
so do you also do that on the side, or did you manage to make this your main thing?
Well, yeah. So for me, content creation has always been like, it was basically a hobby that kind of turned into a on the side job. Like when I started making the stuff, I didn't even think about making money with it. That was not on my mind. It's just I wanted to make stuff to help people, and then I was like, oh, you can monetize this. That's cool. So I'll do that. So I did, but yeah, no, I've been full-time employed as an engineer in automotive. So that's that's my main job. And then I've just been doing this in my spare time, basically, which is tough because it takes a lot of time.
Yeah, there's basically no spare time if you have a main job and try to do YouTube and editing and so on. Well, you see how often I post, so that's the reason for that.
Is that so? Is content creation a full-time thing for you? Is that your main job, or?
It wasn't, but I don't mind if it happens for some reason. It's just not a very stable job if you see all the other people YouTube demonetize for no apparent reason. It's kind of scary if you actually make this your main job.
No, I agree. I mean, I think that's quite a fair point of view. And it also, it puts a lot of pressure on, right? Because I don't know if you feel this like in the way I feel it, but when you're making content, there's always a drive to do more, to get the next video out. There's always pressure on, and if you don't post something for however long, then the algorithm really doesn't like it. We are very beholden to the algorithm, which it needs you to stay active. So that would worry me about going full time, is that what happens if I couldn't post something, or I didn't feel like posting something, I got burned out. It's a difficult one. Yeah,
definitely. I think I remember Brothka when he was 1 year, when he made YouTube his full job for a year. First, he found it pretty amazing, but he also couldn't make the content that he wanted to do, but he had to do the content that actually makes money. So for me, that would be no shorts. A short is basically like 3 cents per 50,000 clicks. I don't know.
Wow.
It's
Okay.
ridiculous.
I didn't know it was that low. I don't do
No,
shorts. But
it's basically zero.
wow. Okay.
And I would only be able to make a living if I make full-time Let's Plays. And maybe people don't like that after the third Let's Play, and they click
Yeah.
off, and then all your revenue is gone.
Yeah, no, that's the thing as well, and I think that is something that I'm also coming across with Oni. My channel now is not quite 2 years old, but I started making content then, and I'm personally always in a place where I like trying different stuff, different games, and I think from a content point of view, it's difficult to make the transition between games and maybe to become a gaming channel rather than a specific game channel like an Oni channel. I've definitely felt that because I've done a little bit of exploring with like Kerbal Space Program 2 I played a bit of, although it was so buggy I stopped. But I tried a bit of that. I played a bit of...
That's the charm.
Look, I could deal with a few bugs, but it was game-breakingly bad, So that was when it first launched. I'm sure it's better now, but I haven't gone back. But yeah, so some of that don't starve together and that kind of thing. And definitely what I noticed is if I post videos that aren't Oni, they definitely get fewer views. I think that's just the reality of it because most of my audience, most of my subscribers, you guys, you like watching Oni content just because that's why you follow the channel. So it is difficult. It's really difficult to broaden yourself. I don't know if you feel that pressure as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's not only specifically the Oxygen Not Included community, but some game communities that are more focused on their game.
Yeah.
And for the Oxygen Not Included community, it's, I think, Factorio,
yeah,
Oni, maybe RimWorld, and
RimWorld.
Nothing else. So if you play anything else, you better start a new channel. That's the feeling that I get.
I'm hoping there's some Satisfactory in there because I've been a little bit obsessed by that recently. So I'm hoping to bring that to stream.
I'm not sure.
Did you find out?
I checked some other channels. For example, not sure if it was Blitz or Bits.
Yes, Bits is one I've heard of.
And one of those has a Satisfactory channel, and the other one has multiple channels. And the multiple channel person has one for more elaborate games that take a long time to record, like Oxygen Not Included and other games, and a main channel for games that he can record faster. And the Oxygen Not Included channel basically is on still stand for 2 years now because the main channel just is easier to produce and has more clicks and has a broader broader viewer base. I think that is limiting us specifically in this area.
Yeah, no, it's difficult. And say I like playing different games. I've been playing a lot of Satisfactory. I haven't been able to stream that yet because so I don't know how you've played Satisfactory before. I know you have because I saw in one of the comments you mentioned that. But so the latest one, at least at the time of recording, is update 8 is out on experimental, but it is very unstable. At least on my setup, it is crashing all over the place. So I'd love to stream on that because they also updated to Unreal Engine 5.5 and 5.2, which looks amazing, but it's so unstable. I can't stream on that. So I've had to go back to update 7 for now.
And you say that, and you probably have a content creator PC, so a strong one, I guess.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, I've updated my PC now, and actually, I always thank the guys, everyone that's listening that supported my channel, because with the money that the YouTube's brought in, I have basically upgraded my whole PC at this point. So I updated my CPU for an Intel i5 13600K, and I don't know how well you know your naming conventions, but anyways, pretty top end, near top end latest chip, and that made a huge difference, particularly for Oni on my most dupes run that was lagging like really badly. It doubled my frame rate, I think, from about 7 to 14, which is not great, but it was a huge difference. So I upgraded that and the RAM and the motherboard, and then just recently, in order to play Satisfactory, I just bought a 4080 on the Nvidia cards. Again, I don't know how familiar you are with graphics cards, but that's pretty near top end. So
that's top end. I I also used basically all of my last year YouTube money just to buy and upgrade this PC, and there's pretty much nothing left.
So yeah, we promise to everyone that is listening, we do use the money wisely to try and make the content better.
Yeah,
it's definitely the case.
So what brought you to Oxygen Not Included?
That's a good question. I mean, I actually struggle to remember when I started only, because I think I looked this up and I think it was 2019. It was just before it came out of beta, so it was still in the original game beta, no DLC or anything like that. I can't exactly remember why, but I'm pretty sure I saw some videos on YouTube of it. I think I remember I saw maybe Let's Game It Out, I think, played it a bit, and maybe RT Game as well, with some people I saw playing it, and then I think it just came on sale. Maybe one of my friends was playing it, and I was like, oh, look at that. It was on sale. It was like £6 or something, very cheap, and it's on sale.
£6,
so
nice.
We know when it goes on sale, it goes super cheap, so that and the DLC, they're not expensive on sale. And I was like, all right, I'll just try it out. And I think I then spent the entire month of like December and Christmas, my Christmas holiday, just playing Oni, trying to learn Oni, reading the Oni wiki, watching Francis John. It was, I just got obsessed.
Do you think there's any way to learn or play Oxygen Not Included without checking YouTube or the wiki?
Yes, but you'll be significantly limited. I mean, this is a point that I think I've brought up on a number of occasions, but I am still disappointed with the level of tutorials and in-game help available for Oni. I know they've put a lot in there. There are things there. They got the basics, they got the tooltips, but it's not enough. It's definitely not enough. And when I was learning, I relied on the wiki. I read so much of the wiki and watched all of Francis John's tutorial nuggets multiple times just to try and get it. But, you know, I don't think, 99.99% of players would ever build a petroleum boiler if they'd never heard of a petroleum boiler or seen it done. No one's going to come up with that. It's something you have to see and then be like, oh yeah, that is cool, you can do that. Oh, and this is how I do it. And you kind of need to follow a guide for the first time because it's so complicated.
That's basically why I started my channel. Two reasons. 2020, I've seen Channel Maker talk about shorts, and I thought that was interesting. And the second reason, I tried to build a petroleum boiler, and I had to watch Francis John's video for 3 or 4 times, and I thought to myself, you can do that in a minute. Why do I watch this for the third time, the 32-minute video? I'm not going to do that again. So, and basically from this point on, I made short videos to get a little bit of traction. And when I felt like I had enough traction, I tried my first Let's Play, which was a horrifying experience.
Horrifying how?
First off, you hear yourself for the first time on a recording, which is always super hard and cringy.
Yeah.
And then you try to make it kind of interesting and edit out everything that you don't like.
Which is most of it, because you hate all of it.
Exactly.
Yes. No, that's a common problem for everyone, I think. And when you hear your voice, I still don't like the sound of my own voice when I'm editing myself. I really don't. And I've had a lot of compliments on my voice. So thank you to everyone that has done that said, not so nice things. But when I listen to myself, it's still like, it's not how you hear yourself. So I think everyone gets it. It's something you have to train yourself out of.
Even if the people are nice and say that you have a calming voice, which I've read on your channel and I've read sometimes on my channel, I don't feel the same.
It's hard to believe it because you experience it completely differently. So it's a tricky one. But it sounds like then you made your channel with a similar inspiration to kind of how I started making the tutorial bites, where the reason I started making those is because actually a very similar reason to you, where I was watching the long tutorials. And there's loads of great tutorials out there for Oni, but a lot of them are very long. Like you said,
I'm not bashing on the tutorials.
No,
I
yeah, of course not.
was wondering how long they are.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think that's important for us to say, is that, you know, the content out there is great and builds, you know, is useful, but yeah, in a number of occasions you'll be watching a video which is, you know, 30 minutes or even, you know, I think I remember watching one video, I don't remember who made it, a video on gases, which is an hour and 10 minutes. And I watched the whole thing. I mean, I watch it in double speed because that's how I watch everything. But, you know, it's feel like, surely you could do this quicker. You know, that's what was going through my head, is like, you know, can we do it more concisely? And that's what prompted me to make the tutorial bites. You know, a lot of the information in the tutorial bites isn't new or groundbreaking. It's recovering old things that are known. But
it's just more compact and better structured.
That's what I tried to do with it. That's why I thought it was worth making. You know, I think I'm very much on the page of, I don't want to put content out there for the sake of making content. You know, I would only make something if I think there's a good reason why it's better or people would want to see it more than what's out there already, if that makes sense, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not completely on the same page because I obviously post some weird shorts in the last time.
But you post unique stuff, right? I mean, your exploits and things there. A lot of things I see in your content as well is things that I just don't see anywhere else. You come up with these crazy exploits that I've never seen before, and I think that gives you a unique angle to come at it from, and it always makes it interesting and new.
Yeah, thank you. Before that, I try to make those little music inspired, cut to the beat building shorts.
Yeah.
And I'm not the first person that made shorts on Oxygen Not Included. That was not sure, they changed their name. Desperado K46, something like that, for 56. They made tiny shorts about like Oxygen through a vent.
Yeah.
A tiny little sitcom, just a few seconds about the dupes going on with their day. And I thought about, hey, that's nice. Let's do shorts about Oxygen Not Included as well, but a totally different kind of style, so I don't mess up his style. Yeah,
no, I've seen a couple of those as well, but that's I don't remember any specific people that make that kind of content. I think it tends to be the more factual stuff that does slightly better, maybe. But there's always a space for that kind of thing on YouTube. I think there's a space for everything on YouTube. You know, you can do any crazy thing and someone will watch it. Usually, somehow, that's kind of the great thing. It's just so free. Probably downside as well, but it's a double-edged sword.
So, besides Satisfactory, what else do you personally play?
Well, I would say I have quite a varied gaming history. I've been a gamer for a long time. I don't know about you. I started properly when I got my own computer when I was 11. But I was playing games before that.
Oh, wow!
Were you similar, or did you start a bit later?
We had a PC at home. It was a Windows 95 DOS system.
Okay.
Which was before DOS or 95? I'm not sure.
I think DOS came first.
Yeah,
comments to correct me if I'm wrong. But
I had to ask my dad to come over and start a game, and I tried to play them. But you know the games back then, they weren't really that interesting. Most of them were kind of better or demo versions that you can only play for a few minutes. And then we had a PC, but it wasn't able to play anything.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe Word.
Yeah, no, that's what it was like back in the day. No, I remember that as well, because when I got my first computer when I was 11, which I'd said was for schoolwork, which it kind of was, but there's more gaming than schoolwork. But yeah, before that, I definitely remember we had dial-up, and you couldn't use the phone at the same time as the internet. So it's I'm showing my age a little bit. So I'm not that old, but still, feeling a little bit older now, you know, with the things these days. But yeah, in that time since, I've played a load of games. You know, I tend to have quite a wide variety. I definitely started with like shooters. I played quite a bit of Call of Duty and stuff back in the day. I love driving games, so Gran Turismo got me started on that. Played a lot of F1 as well. But yeah, just more recently and stuff, like the management games I'm really into, so like Satisfactory, that. I played a bit of Surviving Mars as well, got into that. But I'd probably be remiss if I missed off the biggest game that I played, which was Dota 2. Are you familiar with Dota 2?
Not at all.
Not
No.
you know what it is,
Kinda-
or you don't. You literally don't know what it is.
I would guess it's
Okay.
kind of League of Legends.
Yeah, close. So the original Dota came first. League of Legends copied that, and then Dota 2 came after that. But
Yeah.
it's a MOBA, so multiplayer online battle arena. So it's very similar to League, but slightly different. But yeah, I started that during uni, and I got completely sucked into that. So in 5 years, I put 11,000 hours into Dota 2, which
Wow.
is crazy. It's crazy. And then, yeah, I mean, I played that game for probably about seven or 8 years, and then I just kind of stopped. Just like, I don't want to play this again, but I was so into that. But it was great. I mean, it's an amazing experience on that, because I got pretty good. You know, I don't like to brag, but I got pretty good, and I was in the top tier of like the rankings, and at points I was on the leaderboard in Europe.
That's the least you could expect from 11,000 hours.
Yeah. Well, yes, but I mean, even that's not enough. Like the pros are on a whole different level. But you know, I did play in esports things, and I competed for some money once. I won a little bit of money, not enough to cover the entrance ticket, but I always say I'm technically a semi-pro gamer because I won some money.
That's pretty cool.
I won some money.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was amazing. It was a lot of time, but I think that my favorite thing about it was that I just kind of went, when you were playing a high level match, I mean, like, you know, really high level, it just felt like nothing else. It's really hard for me to describe what it feels like, but probably the best words I could use is kind of like flow almost. You know, when you're just you're in something, you're completely absorbed by it. But because it's competitive, you're facing off against other people that are as good as you, who are also really good. And when you just get a really good game where both sides are playing really, really well, and you know it's going really well, and it just all comes down to strategy and how well you can execute it. And it just gives you a feeling that I'm not sure I've actually felt anywhere else. Just that pure competitive flow. It's just, yeah.
So competitive Oni next.
Well, I mean, I'm always advocating for only multiplayer. You know, when people ask me, what do you want to see? I want to see only multiplayer, which I always say is a bit of a joke, because honestly, I don't think it'll ever come.
There's a mod for included multiplayer, but it's kind of complicated, and I didn't want to look into it.
Yeah, well, I saw that, but my understanding of it was that it basically lets multiple people play on the same base, so you can like do stuff. I don't know if you like both have control over the same cursor, or you even have different cursors. I don't know, but it's definitely not true multiplayer in the sense of you have a base, I have a base, and they in some way interact in real time. It's definitely not that. But yeah, I always say that as a bit of a joke, because I don't think the devs would ever do that, to be honest. I don't think it fits Oni. I don't know if you agree.
Not in the current state, no.
Yeah.
But I think the duplicants have so much more potential. You could put them in a side-scrolling 2D medieval game, like in the style of Terraria, just with the oxygen not included duplicants, and they ride on giant hedges with spears and fight each other. I can imagine that.
Game.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that'd be interesting. It'd be quite a different game to Oni, but sounds interesting.
Well, Klei is open to different game styles. They have a new game coming, which is more like Cult of the Lamb, basically.
Which one are you referring to? You mean Rockwood? Or...
I think, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you play a lot of other Klei games? I don't know if you...
I tried... how's it called? Don't Starve Together.
Don't Starve Together,
and
yeah.
The Don't Starve Together, where you are thrown on an island. Yeah. I like watching other people play it.
Yeah.
I don't personally like playing it myself. It's more like when you're unexperienced in, for example, Minecraft, there's a whole world in front of you, and you need to already know everything that you want to achieve, so you can make the right ingredients at the right time. And I don't want to learn all of that.
Yeah, because I did play a bit of Don't Starve, and I kind of learned it. I got reasonable at it, but I kind of like... So I did not enjoy it. I enjoyed it, but I definitely didn't enjoy it as much as Oni. It wasn't enough to hook me in. I think, because a lot of it felt quite manual, like you're having to do a lot of it yourself with your character. So it felt difficult to scale. It didn't have the depth and the complexity like Oni does. So I don't know. It just
Yeah, I
didn't hook me in.
agree. It's basically survival in the hardest form with just your character, and you can make your life only a little bit easier if you
Yeah.
know how to create some traps. But those are mostly, well, I'm unexperienced, but I guess those are mostly manual as well. You have to lure them in and so
Yeah.
on.
To a certain extent, I mean, you can automate some stuff, but I think you hit the nail on the head that you can't fully automate everything and walk away like in Oni.
Yeah.
You couldn't do that. So it's a bit more involved.
Also, more automation for Oni. That's also what I want.
Yeah. Well, do you have any specific things in mind? Like
More of an automatic cooking system.
Okay.
Besides making omelets, that you have maybe a cooking robot that takes over the task. I want my duplicants to have a super nice leisurely life when they are in the end game. They don't have to run around and groom everything.
Yeah.
But at the moment, it is still necessary.
Yes. Yeah. And actually, that is quite relevant to my current run, which is my luxury hotel run, which takes on that idea that my current playthrough on Twitch, I'm building towards having a base where no one does everything. Sorry, no one does anything. But like you said, there are tasks that you can't avoid doing. So to get around that, I've added some caretaker dupes, which I'm going to, make them do the chores and have everyone else do nothing. But yeah, you can't fully automate. Well, I think you can. Actually, I'm going back on that. I think you can fully automate, but it does rule off some things, right?
Yeah, that's true. You can automate a lot of stuff if you don't plan on having a lot of duplicants. That's what I think.
Yeah, but also things like if you did wild farming doesn't need any labor, but you can't cook it or you can't have critters or barbecue, basically, or eggs.
Yeah.
So you can do that, but you're limited.
And coming back to your idea with the how do you call your hotel?
I'm calling it the luxury hotel. Yeah, that's hotel, the name of the run.
Yeah. Even before I started YouTube, I made a list of stuff that I probably still haven't done. But on that list also was the good dupe, bad dupe. You have one side where the leisurely dupes live, and the other side where the working area for the dupes is. And the right side has a horrible life and has to work for the left side. But this has been done a few times.
Yes.
I think you can also call it the aristocrats and the plebeians.
Something like that. Yeah, no, I agree. And I think it's definitely an old idea that has been done a couple of times. So,
but it's just fun.
Yeah.
Nice to watch.
There's something that draws people to that idea. I don't know what it is, but yeah, people definitely seem to like that series. So that's been going really well. Okay, so what I want to do for the end of, or towards the end of my my podcast, is do a bit of a quick fire thing. I'm hoping this will become a thing. If I'm hoping to get more guests on here, more Oni creators. We might expand beyond that, but definitely I'll try and have a discussion with more Oni creators. So I thought it'd be fun just to ask you some quick fire questions and get your thoughts on these things. So.
Definitely.
Try and answer.
And also, people come here to this podcast.
Yes,
it's fun.
Please do. I will be. I'll be in touch with some of the other creators, and we'll see who we can get on here. I'd love to have different members of the community from YouTube, from Twitch, and have a chat about Oni stuff. Right. So here's a question. You can answer these. I'm going to ask them in a quick fire way, but you can expand. You don't have to give me a short answer.
Okay.
Right. What is your favorite rocket engine in Oxygen Not Included?
At the moment, it's the Radbolt engine because it's basically
That's a silly question,
free
wasn't
energy. Yeah.
I shouldn't have even bothered asking that. I think we knew Luma was going to go on the Radbolts. All right. What is your favorite overlay in the game?
My favorite overlay.
I've gone out there.
Favorite overlay. What?
Do you have a favorite overlay?
Which one do I use the most? It's probably gases or liquids, which I use the most. But favorite ones.
Do you mean the pipe, like the plumbing and the ventilation ones?
Yeah. Probably the room overlay, because you can see nicely what you already done.
Yeah, the room overlay looks cool. And also, have you done the thing where you've added rooms that are entirely pointless just so they look nice on the room overlay?
Absolutely.
I think everyone's done that. Maybe. But, okay, cool.
And the rooms that are not rooms yet, I try to
Yeah.
make them the
Make them
nature
something.
reserve.
Okay, yeah. You use wild planting for that?
Yeah, or pips, or
Yes, with pips. Yeah. Good. That's a good technique. Make your ladder rooms nature reserve. It's a good bonus. Right. What is, this is a weird quickfire question. What is your favorite building category? So they've got the numbers at the bottom. Base, oxygen. Which is your favorite one of those?
The favorite one, probably the decor.
You like like the furniture one on
the furniture one. Yeah, you probably have seen my new. You may some of you may have seen my short about the how to decorate a room or how to create what did I do, a mess hall, a great hall.
Yeah.
And I'm using a lot of decor, and I also like the plants a lot. And you can incredibly increase your variability if you use the decor mod 1 from Aki.
Okay, so you use a mod for decor stuff as well. Cool.
Not necessarily for the Let's Play, but if I play for myself, I use a lot of mods that make it look nicer. Especially, like I said, from Aki. Yeah,
that's interesting because actually my take with mods is I tend to use quality of life mods, and I avoid mods that add buildings and modify things like that to the game. That's a cool thing.
I also try to avoid buildings that change the game.
Yeah.
But just decor items, I think that's fine.
I think the great thing about mods with Oni is that it's a single player game, so you can play how you want and you've got so much flexibility. So what one person wants, someone else might not, but you've got the choice, which is great. So shout out to all the modders out there. If anyone mods and is listening, thank you for your hard work, because it makes the game so much better. I couldn't play without some of the mods, so I'll be honest. Yeah, really
Agreed.
I'll add that in as a question. It wasn't one of my quickfire questions, but what's your do you have favorite mods? What do you think some mods you'd recommend to everyone to get?
Well, besides my mod series where I show a lot of mods.
Luma's mod series, there you go.
Yeah.
What are your favorite ones there?
Like you said, the quality of life mods are a necessity for me to play the game, because I absolutely hate the red symbols. I don't like them. They changed them for a while to white symbols and then changed it back to red symbols. I don't know why. If your plant is ready to harvest, don't tell me. I see it. Just stop it with the symbols. Why? And I used the suppress notification mod and the I don't know the name from the top of my head. The no more sounds, like 3 different kind of sound suppressing mods.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure which ones, but
yeah, and then a lot of decor mods.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think that's good advice. I mean, I think there's basic things as well, like bigger camera zoom out and build over plants. That are just things.
Yeah, build over plants. Yeah,
it's like you almost forget that you've got the mods on because it seems like it's so basic. But yeah,
I'm guessing they will include that at one time, like they did with pliers and a few other mods.
I don't know. Maybe. It just makes sense to me. I don't understand why you have to dig them up first. It's so silly. But yeah, like the pliers one was a really good addition. I mean, I had pliers on for a long time, and having it built into the game is definitely a good thing. I think blueprints is another one that I just love playing with. Playing without it is such a pain. But just the copy paste feature, not even the blueprints themselves, but just being able to select a whole area and just copy that wholesale is just invaluable. I feel like that would be a useful addition to the base game as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Blueprint mod
is kind of amazing. I actually don't use it.
Okay.
I have it installed all the time, but I basically always forget that I have it. And the issue with my current Let's Play was that I have varied materials on each planet. So if I try to copy anything, the materials don't fit. And I need to rebuild it anyway.
Yeah. No, that's definitely a problem with it, but it does make just copying things so much quicker. So I'd highly recommend it if you guys don't have it. I think it's called Blueprints Fixed. You need the fixed version, but check it out if you haven't already. It's a great one. Right, I'm going back to the quickfire questions because this one leads on to something you just said. What's your favorite plant? You like plants?
My favorite plant is the Blissburst.
You like the Blissburst? Okay.
Yeah, the pokey one.
Mm-hmm. That's a Spaced Out DLC exclusive decor plant, isn't it?
Yes.
But
I basically only
do
played the DLC.
Okay. You never really played the base game in the first place. You kind of
I did play the base game. I'm not sure if I ever made it to space in the base game
Okay.
because I liked the DLC
Yeah.
for the many planets.
Mhm.
And when I played the base game, I started over at as soon as I reached cycle 35, I started
Wow.
over 10 times just to train the early game.
Yeah.
Then I trained the mid game,
Mhm.
and then the DLC came out, so I switched over.
So you did a proper training routine of
Yeah.
getting through. That's interesting. Yeah, because I had the advantage where I was playing the base game before the DLC came out, so I got all the way through and learned all that stuff. And yes, but space is definitely less engaging in the base game. I was going to say more difficult. In some senses, it is more difficult. In some senses, it's not. I think on balance, it's just different. It's different. So,
is it different regarding the stress on your PC because it's just one world?
yeah, it should be less. In theory, it should be less. But I mean, well, you know, of course, how Oni simulates the multiple planetoids. It's all one big map, but they hide different ones depending on what you're looking at. So, whether it does or not, I'm not sure. It's kind of difficult to get a fair comparison, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
I imagine the base game would be less, but
I'm not sure. I think the last comparison test that was done was by Francis, but that was just for computer parts. So which part is important for Oni to run smoothly? And I'm not sure anyone tested if the base game or the DLC is faster. And there's so much for game optimization. If I start the DLC with just one planet that I actually clicked on, and I click on the other 9, the game starts to go down in speed. Everything starts to lag. So even not clicking on your other planets helps out.
Yeah, maybe. I think it'd be difficult to test because how do you get 2 save files that you're happy are close enough to actually test the difference? Because then you wouldn't know if your difference is actually the save file or the actual inherent in the game. But
yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, performance is definitely a key one. Struggling with frame rate on bigger, longer bases.
Yeah, also always a good topic for a video. How to reduce dupes standing around doing nothing.
Yeah, well, I mean, the optimization for the dupes is not great. Having done the most dupes record run, and getting to well over 200 dupes, the optimization is not good. It really slows down at that point. So I can attest to that one myself. Right, I'll keep going with these questions. I got 2 more for you. 2 more. What's your favorite? What is your favorite critter? You have a favorite critter?
Favorite critter. From the cuteness factor, it is the regular pip.
Okay.
And from the
not the cuddle pip.
No, the regular pip.
Okay.
The cuddle pip is a bit too in your face.
Fair enough. Yeah. From a practical point of view.
And from a practical point of view, I think just the regular stone hedge because it is the most used for meat. But I like all the critters. They're kind of cool.
Most of them are useful. But
what do you think is the most useless critter?
Useless?
Yes.
I think it has to be the long hair slickster, doesn't it?
The long hair slickster.
Try to think if there's anything worse than that. Maybe the sponge slug as well.
Yes.
Sponge slug is also high on the list.
I did also want to say the sponge slug or the gas slug.
Yeah, the smoke slug. Yeah. They are both pretty terrible. Yeah. And I would have said gassy moves as well before the update. Gassy moves are pretty bad, but now they've been buffed, so they actually they have somewhat of a use. They're still questionable. Nice now. Well, I still don't think they're great, but they at least give you something. Before they gave you nothing. There was no point ever doing gassy moves. So
did they not give you meat?
Yeah, but it's as much as a shovel. And the annoying thing was how you had to get them, right? Because in the base game, you had to send biological cargo bays to organic masses? I think that's the right one. So every time you want a new one, you have to send a rocket, which usually meant petroleum or more likely hydrogen. And in the DLC is better because you could just camp out on the Mu planetoid and just wait for them to land.
Yeah.
But that also then means you've got to go out there and colonize it, which is just a bit of a pain. And it's kind of like, do I do that or do I just farm shuffles?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I have one of these planets that is basically overrun by moose and a lot of meat, but no one survived there, so it's
Yeah.
gone to waste.
Exactly. But now, because of the update, they summon more moves. So actually, there's a way to get more, which is much easier. Plus, the whole Brackine thing is definitely a big bonus. Like, they're not power positive on natural gas. You lose a load of power doing it if you do light. Otherwise, you have to put them in space. It's just like you get so little power out of it. It's just not worth it.
Yeah.
So the Brackine is a buff, definitely for sure. No.
I just wish they make the transit tubes a lot faster with the Brackine.
Yeah, it wasn't a big
33% buff is too less, I guess.
Has anyone ever looked at a transit tube and gone, I wish they'd go faster though?
Why not?
I never have. Well, yeah, why not? But it wasn't a problem, if you see what I mean. It's not like, oh my God, my transit tubes are so slow. I really wish I had a way to speed them up. I must do it now. You know.
I think that all the time.
Okay, all right. Fair enough. I've never thought that, but there you go. Different perspectives.
Yeah.
Always good. All right, last quick fire question for you then. What is your favourite geyser?
Favorite geyser?
You must have one. Every only player has a favourite geyser, I feel.
Yeah.
There's probably some obvious answers, but
from the newer geysers, it's the water geyser, because it's just super useful for creating large amounts of oxygen, hydrogen in a swarm area.
So the normal water one that produces it, is it 95?
Yeah. 95,
yep.
And it dumps it out at 4 kilograms per second or something like that.
I think it's 3, but yeah, it's more than the steam vents and the cool ones. So
yeah. And from the older stuff, does it have to be a geyser or
a geyser, volcano? Yeah, anything that spawns stuff really on the map.
Yeah, I think the aluminum or gold volcano, because they're super useful for building large amounts of cabling and power. Yeah, power compartments.
Yeah, the refined metal's always good. Actually, I find it a little bit interesting that you said from the old ones and you mentioned the aluminium volcano, because the aluminium volcano was added with the Spaced Out DLC, I think. I got it right. So actually, it wasn't in the original base game.
That's why I added the gold volcano as well.
Yeah. I think the iron one's maybe slightly more useful, because I am super obsessed with steel and thermium. I'm just obsessed with those. So the tungsten volcanoes I love, and the iron ones. Iron be my preferred, but aluminium is so good.
I'm so happy that they added the function that you can use steel building for basically any ore-based building.
Yeah.
Because I remember one of my first playthroughs, I built a giant base and I totally ran out of metal ore. And I could not add any more feeders for my critter. Because there was no option at that time.
Yeah.
Now you can build them out of steel.
Yeah, it's definitely good. I mean, because that exact same scenario happened to me on the Most Dupes run, where I've built off, like, I've probably built now about 2/3 of a full-sized map, and the amount of metal ore that I've used in like the industrial bricks is insane, to the point where I literally had to rely on steel and thermium because I can make those renewably, and I can't make any of the other metal ores renewably without space mining, which is a pain.
Yeah,
so
I get that.
I'm super glad, but I've used hundreds, if not well over 1,000 tons of just thermium and steel, just building stuff out of metal ore. Yeah, that build is crazy. If you guys haven't seen any of that, I really need to pick that series back up. But I'm doing the luxury hotel for now, and we'll continue with that at some point. But yeah, that build's crazy. The amount of materials I used is just insane. I think I built 8 sour gas boilers by the time I stopped.
Wow. So, was there also a reason because of the lag that you stopped with the Let's Play? I can't remember.
No, so actually what happened is, like I told you, I managed to upgrade my CPU and my RAM and my motherboard a little while ago. And then it was probably about 3-ish months ago, again, as a time of recording, that my motherboard died on me. So I was streaming a different game, Mind Over Magic, which we had a playtest through from Klei on. And I was about half an hour in, I think, and my whole PC just died, just dead. I thought it was the power supply at first, but we got a new one of those, then found out it wasn't that, and I had to send the motherboard back in. So to keep me going, I swapped back in my old motherboard and CPU and RAM, so that was fine. But that hardware cannot play the Most Dupes base. It is unplayable. So I had to pause the series because I didn't have the hardware, and it took them 2 months for me to get it back. I do not have it back, but I haven't restarted the series because I'm playing the other one now. So
yeah, that's why it's just super unlucky.
Yeah, it is. It's a bit annoying because I wanted to get to 250 dupes and 200 episodes and then kind of pause it in a more structured way. So I'll have to pick that back up at some point, but future plans.
No, I feel you. That's why I bought the new PC, because the first one also had an issue with the power plug, and the power plug killed the motherboard, and I had to replace the whole thing.
Yeah, hardware issues suck, particularly when you're streaming as well. It's the worst feeling when your PC's dying or your internet's dying, and you feel like you're letting people down. You're trying to get it working, and it's the worst. It's the worst. So hopefully you've been all right with your PC reliability. Otherwise,
you brought up the issue with your OBS failing. I'm not having the same issues. I'm just I don't take a closer look at how much space I have left, and I tried to record the whole PlayStation of the news game that I've shown, Panorama.
Yeah.
And I played for over 3 hours, and my PC only recorded 1 hour, and then the hard drive was full. I didn't notice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we just for everyone that's listening, we discussed that briefly before we started. But there's always things like that happen. Like, I was telling Luma about one time where I don't know if I forgot to press record or I double pressed it, pressed it and then turned it off again. But I spent about 40 minutes recording a tutorial by, vocal, and then went to check the video and there was nothing. And that is just this complete face palm where you're just like, damn it, why did I do that? And it's tricky.
So brutal.
It's tricky, the streaming and content creation. No one tells you how to do it, so you got to learn by making the mistakes, haven't you? It's always the way. Right, okay. I think we're kind of coming towards the end. I suppose I did want to ask you quickly, do you have any future plans you want to share? What kind of stuff have you got coming up?
Future plans. Like I said, I have a giant list of stuff that I wanted to do with the channel. I even wrote that before I started YouTube. So I have like 10, 20 sites of stuff that I wanted to do, and I basically haven't done anything of that. I technically wanted to finish the Let's Play in a orderly manner, because I don't like if stuff is unfinished. But I'm not really into finishing the Let's Play at the moment, because it is so laggy. I had to kill off all the duplicants. I know how you feel with your 200 dupes. I killed off mine. I killed all the critter. I tried to optimize the base, but it is still just too laggy. It is not fun at all. I wanted to start maybe a new Let's Play on the harder asteroid, this cute one, the newer one.
Okay. I actually found that easier, to just let you know. I did a run on that, where I got the Cosmic Archaeologist achievement, and I decided to use that map because it was available and it looked interesting. But in general, I thought it was easier because you don't have to go all the way down for oil or all the way up to space, because the map is shorter sideways, and also that means you can build tunnels left and right rather than like a ladder and pole. So it's much easier to go sideways, and you reach the top quicker. And in general, I thought it was actually a little bit easier than normal.
Yeah, but the fact is, I'm not really sure which direction I wanted to take the channel. I could make more regular gameplay, like Let's Play, the new Let's Play with the Skewed, the new Let's Play with the next asteroid. But I'm not sure if I'm stuck then totally with playing Oxygen forever. I like challenges. I definitely want to do the 100 dupe challenge again, but this time I wanted to be at least a little bit better than before. And I wanted to add a few more challenges for maybe some other games that are close in the style. So people that watch the videos are also attracted to that. But of course I will play Oxygen Not Included, make some builds as well.
Yeah. That sounds good. And I'll ask the question as well. So anyone that's still listening, because I don't know how long this is, but it's reasonably long. So thank you if you have listened all the way through to here. If you want to let us know in the comments, what do you want to see? I always like asking the people. So if you've got any ideas for Luma and you love his stuff, what do you want to see more of? Let us know.
That's a good idea. I want to read that.
Yeah, we'll read all your comments. So that'd be great. Right, I think I'll wrap it up there.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining me on this first episode. Where can people find you?
Thank you for having me first. And people can find me on the Lumaplays channel on YouTube, and also on the Luma Raw channel on YouTube, which is my second channel where I post less edited stuff. I try to do unedited, but I just can't.
Yeah, like we said, it's a lot of work. And you also have a Discord as well, don't you?
Yeah. So I do have a Discord, but I don't publicly announce it. So if you can find it in the comment section, you are welcome, of course. There's not so much happening most of the time, but sometimes we do develop new stuff, new exploits. So of course you are welcome there as well. As for shoutouts, why not shout out Beard here, the German engineer, and of course the lovely Echo Ridge Gaming for their great challenges as well.
Definitely. Yeah, great. So definitely check Luma out there. If you don't know him already, I'm sure most of you know him already, but go follow him there. Give him a subscribe on YouTube. We appreciate it very much. And for me as well, you guys know where to find me because you're already here. This is on my channel, but I also have a Discord. Again, I'll put the link in the description for you. And I have a Patreon too. So thank you to everyone that supports me through that, and Twitch as well. Again, I've been saying I do stream as well. So please come say hello live. It's great seeing so many people live. So we'd love to see you there. Right, I think that about wraps it up. So, a huge thank you for agreeing to do this. I think it's been really interesting.
Thanks a lot. It was a pleasure being here.
Yeah, it's been great. So hopefully, again, if you guys listening, if you like this, you want more of this, hopefully you do, then I'd love to try and do this with some other people. But thanks to Luma for being on our first episode. And hopefully we'll see you next time.
Thanks everyone for listening to this podcast, and go and tune in for the next one.